What's up? It's Sarah Satchel here with an easy neutral eyeshadow look that anyone can do. Looks great for any eye type. We're going to talk about a few tips for application, some technique, as well as the formula that I use basically every time I wear eyeshadow. This is a look right here on this eye. Let's throw it on this eye and get going. So first things first with eyeshadow, you've got to find a primer that works for you. Maybe you don't need a primer, most likely you do. The primer that I love to use is actually just setting powder. I have a setting powder right here in my palette. This is the Smudge brush from Seint Beauty, and this is my gorgeous custom eyeshadow palette from Seint Beauty, where I have hand selected every single color that is in this palette. So I am not stuck with any colors that I will never use. These all get use. That's one of the just best things about Seint makeup. If you have not tried it yet, this is like, honestly, it's just the best thing ever. These are just colors I could honestly use every single day. Hopefully you can see them. I've got a weird camera situation going on today. Anyway, next I'm gonna take the eyeshadow brush from Seint, and I'm gonna use four colors that are four of the newer shades that Seint released. Oh gosh, it's been like over a year now, but they're the newer shades. So first shade we're going into is this one here. It's called Chai, and it is one of my favorite transition shades. As you can see, it is well loved. So I'm gonna swirl that around. I'm tapping off my brush into a garbage can that's next to me. And then I am going to, this is my transition shade, as I said, so I'm going to apply this basically all over, but I focus my transition shade as you can see where I'm putting it, I'm windshield wipering like the upper above my crease. I've got some hooded eyes going on. You probably, I mean, most people have some degree of hooded eyes. If you don't, wow. If you do, I mean, then you're in good company. And most people, this is where you'll stick your transition shade, all over. But everywhere that like your eyeshadow is gonna go, your transition shade can go there. So I get it, not right up next to my eyebrow, but pretty darn close. Get that up there. And then next up, I'm gonna take this darker shade right here. It's called Sedona. Use the fluffy end again. Just tap into that a little bit. I'm not swirling this one, I'm just tapping. Knock that off in my garbage can as well. And then I tap that fluffy brush right in the corner and then kind of take it up to where the top of my transition shade is. So it just gives me a little corner, not my crease because it's above my crease. That's the key with hooded eyes, is to really, you don't put anything intentionally in your crease. I mean, your transition shade ends up there because your transition shade goes everywhere, but there's no crease shade for a person with hooded eyes. So that's where this darker color goes, is above the crease, like to the very top. It like outlines the outer half of your transition shade, where your transition shade went. That's where I'm putting this darker color. This is the formula, like the recipe that I use basically every time I wear eyeshadow. So if you see me and you're wearing eyeshadow, I did something like this, maybe with a little bit different colors, but I did something like this to apply my eyeshadow. Next up, I'm gonna take this little shimmery number called Drift. Oh, she's beautiful. And I'm gonna flip to the smaller end of my brush, just tap in there a little bit. And now I'm gonna go inner corner and start, I do like the inner third of my eyelid with Drift. And I just said that I may do the same formula but with different colors, but Drift basically sticks around every single day. I love Drift so much. It's like the perfect, just light, neutral, creamy, shimmery, cream color. It's a powder eyeshadow, but it's just beautiful. And today I'm gonna do my next color. My fourth color is going to be this one here. It's called Riviera. I'm gonna take my middle finger and just kind of get some product on it there. Hopefully you can see that. And then use my middle finger to tap this in the center of my eyelid. And I overlap with Sedona in the corner, I overlap with Drift in the inner third, And I even kind of go in my crease and above my crease because I'm a fan of shimmer everywhere. So that is what we do there. I just wiped off my finger, and I'm gonna take this fluffy brush again and just do a little quick one of those to blend it all together. Now I'm not gonna forget to take what's left on my fluffy brush. I'm not putting any new product on, but I'm just gonna take what's left and run it under my eyelid. I'm looking up so I don't get anything right in my eyeball. Run that color under there, and I think we're good to go. The final step for me for eyeshadow is to add a little setting powder on top. I've got super oily eyelids, so this is just a step that I require. I use the same, this is the smudge brush again, what I use to do my setting powder as primer. I take some of that and I just tap it lightly. Well, not lightly. I make sure it's in there. Get it in there. In my crease. When my eyeshadow creases, it creases in the crease. Imagine that. So I put that setting powder in the crease, maybe just a little up above, a little below, so everything gets touched, but I really focus it in that crease. And there you have it. Maybe I'll take this fluffy brush again and just remind my outer corner, outer line what it's supposed to be doing. Make Sedona show up a little bit better there. But then that is it. That is my super simple formula for eyeshadow. While we're here, let me just tell you quick about the shades I have in here. So I happen to have these organized where like these are my matte shades, these are my shimmer shades. This is an illuminator that's a powder that I just love. Here's a setting powder that I use for my primer and after my eyeshadow look. Then this is actually a brush cleaning tile. So like if I were to do Sedona first, that was this darker shade. If I were to do that first and I had a bunch left on my brush, I could like tap it off in the garbage can like I did, or I can use this brush cleaning tile and just wiggle it around and it gets off more of that excess product. So then I could go into a lighter color without getting worried about mixing things in my palette or on my eyeshadow look. So love that. Again, I picked every single one of these colors. So I like looked at the website, looked at the eyeshadows that I had that I loved, and I picked all the ones that I love and I put them in this palette. This is a giant palette. Obviously, I have just literally every single color that I love. Every single one of these is an option. The minimalist in me loves that I don't have to constantly skip over the super duper like dark browns or blues or just colors that I'm not going to use. These are all, you can see they're friends with one another. I like them on me. I like to use them. I know how to use them. And I picked every single one. So when I run out of one as well, I can pop that out and just replace that one color instead of having to buy a whole palette of like 6 or 12 to replace just the one color that you actually use and love, you know? Again, this is a huge palette, but we've got smaller palettes that you can fill up that are more like this size or even smaller than that. So what are you waiting for? Go build yourself a custom eyeshadow palette. Again, the 4 colors that I used were Chai, Sedona, Drift, and Riviera. I use Drift every single day. I honestly use Chai most every day too. Love them so much. They're great options for anyone. Can't wait to see you in the next video and have fun trying out these tips.